Thank you for visiting our channel. Today I came out to review and also quick unbox this awesome looking Android box. This box is done by Buzztv and it's called Power Station 6. So here you go. I have to mention that this video is for YouTube friendly. So if you want to watch the full, just click on the link in the bottom of this video. Except that here you go. So this box is a Rock Chip Plus. It has a brand new remote called BT500. And on top of that, this has Wi-Fi 6, a gigabit LAN, Buzztv 6 and more. And I do not want to forget, if you haven't subscribed to our channel, click the subscribe button. Make sure you share this with your friends and family. Make sure you click the notification icon, select all in order to get notified once we have a new video out. On top of that, if you have a question, drop them at the bottom of the video. We love to help you out ASAP. And don't forget to click the like button. It really motivates us to make these type of videos quickly with a little more detail every time. In here are all the components that are part of the box. It comes with this big manual. Now you can scan this using your phone and you will be able to learn about the actual unit or the remote itself. It comes with an HDMI cable. It comes with a power plug, and the other side is the one that goes to the actual plug. And here's the other part. So once you take it out, you can see that this is going to go to the box itself, and then this is the brick that they have processed and brought up. Now this is going to be 12 volt 3 amps because this box requires about 5 volt to power up, but another 5 volt when you want to hook up a hard drive inside .m2 storage, and that's why you need a bigger power supply. This will do the job perfectly. Now for that remote, you're also going to get an Energizer battery, which is going to be AA. Now this box also comes with a big remote. This remote is ginormous, it's very big, and once you open it, this is how it looks. So I really like the design to it. You're also going to get this little clip, and these are really good. It's really good to connect these to your USB connections. That way dust does not go in. And then the box itself. It is inside of a little plastic so that way it doesn't get scratched up. And once you take it out, this is how it really looks. As you can see, it has a plastic on top because it has these little cuts. And once you turn it on, not all of them will be turned on, but this is how it looks. And once you take it out, it is nicely set up, but this is how it is. And then we're going to take the top out, and this is how it really looks. When you look around, it has nice connections on one side, and then going to here, nothing. Then looking in the back, you have the power connection and more, but this is how it really looks. And then when you flip it upside down, and when you want to open the top, this is how it is going to be set up. As you can see, it is .m2 and not a SATA, but this is where the .m2 going to set. And when you put the hard drive in, it just depends of how big it is. Then you can connect it to this and it will sit nicely. So this way your hard drive will sit to it. You just have to bring it to the back like this and select. Now going around it, in the back you have a power connection. Then you do have a TF card reader. It still comes with an SPDIF or optical audio connection, so you can connect it to your stereo system. It does come with a HDMI and then a gigabit LAN. Now going on the other side, you have one USB 3.0, you have USB 2.0, you do have a USB Type-C connection, and then you have a power button. Yes, this is a power. So this is going to be more like the front part, and that's the back part. But you can put it on a side if you wish, and it looks really neat the way that they have set up. Now when you go to front part of it, there's nothing there, but when you go to the bottom part, you have a lot of holes for ventilation, and then you have this little door as I showed that you can open and put a .m2 storage, and that way it will work. This little writing is really cool because when you flip it, you can read it nicely that this is Buzztv 6 Power Station. But this is how it looks. I'm going to connect it. I'm going to show you what is going to come up on the screen. So in order to power it up, first we will connect the HDMI connection for CEC, and then we're going to connect there. And as you can see on the top, those are the lights that's right now powered up, and in the front there's nothing, it's just that power top. So on the start you will get this little logo. Now you have to understand that this is very first time that we're booting into this box. And now it's time to pair the remote with the actual box for very first time. As it mentions on the actual screen what buttons to press, so it will be the home button and the OK button for a couple of seconds, and then you should be able to see the remote itself that it will be blinking. It will be telling you that found remote. Now we have to wait and it's done. And now easily you can set it up by just pressing English, and wherever your time zone is, make sure that you set up your screen size over here properly, except that you can see that you will have a problem. So make sure that you've done it properly, so this way the full 100% of your screen is set up. So if you don't see these blue lines, make sure that you set it up properly, so you should be able to see full blue lines around and no more black lines after the actual lines. And that's it. Just press OK and you're done. Now make sure that if you do want to set up through Wi-Fi, possible, yes, but mine is already set up with landline, and that's why it just automatically bypassed it and goes to the main screen. So yes, it will go through to find you an update, and if there is no update available, it just goes into the main screen, and this is how it really set up. All right, so once you're on the main screen, this is what you should see. You have a search on the top. In this section, you're going to get a lot more of your space. Now, one thing is that if you're already playing with VOD, which I am, you can see that the name shows up. Now, if I go down, you have your regular buttons, which will be your live TV, VOD, and it has a little writing right underneath of it. TV series, EPG, PVR, and server settings, which you can see it also on the top. Just like before, you can go to it, live TV, VOD, apps, and then settings. And here you should be able to see your server settings, time and date, and also your weather widget for where you are right now. Also, you have your Wi-Fi. Also, your Bluetooth should be on because I'm already paired my remote, and then I'm connected via LAN connection. On top of that, you can check for update. Also, you can edit your style and utilities. Now let's go one by one inside of it. From the top, you can see I am under apps. So these are the default apps that comes with it. I did not install or uninstall anything yet. We will go through one by one and get rid of some that I do not need. Once you go to settings, you can click on it. This is regular settings. You can connect via Wi-Fi or Ethernet. Then you can log into a Google account. This means is if you want to get some apps, you can go to Google Play Store to get it. All the apps that are part of it, you can select and it should show up. Plus you have your device preferences. You can click on it and all of them will be inside of this, or delete something like even a storage. You can see what you have inside of it. Your remote and accessories also going to be here. So you can see that my BT500 is already paired, which I showed you before. And then your Buzztv utility. Now we will get to that. Now except that, you also have your server settings. So if you're going to watch the full version, this will be also added afterward. And then edit style. This is a really cool thing that they brought up. So just pay attention to this part. So it says edit category. You can see the screen changed on the left hand side to the main screen. You can click on this. And then from here, you can change from row to grid. So that means more icons will show up. Or you can leave it on the row. Going down, your visibility, you can click on it. And you can see that Buzztv 6 just disappeared. All became apps. And also with the show the actual app with a name or without it, which will be really good. Another really cool thing is that the size of these apps will get smaller and bigger. Now this is also only made for this part. So you can go to it and you can see that it gets smaller, or you can make it bigger. So if you have more apps will show up. I'm always going to leave it as medium, which is really cool. If you go back one, go to apps. Same type of thing. You can make it as a grid so you can show more in the bottom. Or you can leave it as a row, so you can just keep scrolling to the right and you will see more. On top of that, you have visibility. You can click on it so it totally disappears, or you can put it with a name. You see that, or without a name. So this is with the name and this is without it. So I always leave it with just in case. And then the icon itself, you can make it smaller so you can fit more apps on the same screen, or you can make it bigger so that way you can see if you have visual problem. And then you can fix it that way. So I always leave it as medium, and that's about it. And then manage app, you can go here, and this way you can also hide some apps that you do not want to see. There you go, you see that? It just disappeared from the screen. Or Aptoid, I don't want to see it. Or something like Buzztv 5. Now remember that I'm testing this, so Buzztv 5 is also part of it. When you get yours, I'm sure it will be Buzztv 6. But you have to remember that they're working through Buzztv 5 to make Buzztv 6. So it's really cool to have both of them just in case. And then you also have the OTA. You can just totally get rid of it. And this is where you come in order to fix these. And we will get out of this part. Another part in this is going to be Android settings. So in here, again, just like before, I already shown you guys what you can do here. And then accessibility. So you can read what's involved in this and you can play with it. Except that you have utilities. Now here, you will be able to check for update, just like before. And if there is availability, you can click on a download and it will go through. Except that you also have home screens. So just like before, with the older version of this box, you can change your look. And that was the Buzztv utility inside of the P6 box. Now, when you're on the main screen, you can go down under apps, and this is how it shows that you can keep scrolling and all of the apps will show up very easily. Now, if you set it up as grid, then it will be on the bottom of it. You have more rows that you can select and easily you can play with. But when you go to live TV, if your favorite anything will show up here. When you go to VOD, it will show up underneath over this part. Now, I haven't set anything up. I haven't played with it yet, so I'm going to leave that for later. But here you go. Once you watch the full version, you will see more about it. Except that this is how it is. So this is how easy it is to process with this box itself. All right, so time to test. Number one, we're going to launch YouTube. Now, I already selected one. So when you select settings, by default, it shows as 1080p. You can click on it and you can change it to 4K, which is going to be 2160. 1440 will be 2K. So let's select it as 4K and how fast it changed. So this is how easy it is to change the quality, and you can see that it got very, very vibrant. Now, let's go a little bit geeky inside of it. Now, by default, as you can see, it is capturing it as 1080p. There's 0 frame drops. Now, going down a little bit, you can see the current optimal resolution is running on 3840 by 2160, which is 4K and 60 frames per second. And then going down a little bit, the codecs on this is VP9 and OPUS. So again, it plays it flawlessly. It looks really slick the way that it is, and there's no pause to it. The colors and also the network speed and the buffer health, everything is accurate and perfect. The next thing we're going to open will be AIDA64. Now, under AIDA64, a lot of things comes really raw, so that's why I would like to really get into this. You can see that when I go to system, once you go inside of it, you're going to see the type says TV. Here is the actual chip that they're using. So it's a ROC chip RK3588, and again, this is phenomenal because it comes either with a 4GB of RAM, 8GB of RAM, or even 16. The internal storage that usually with a PCB or motherboard that comes in is roughly about 128GB, which this one is. Now going down, here's the RAM, the one that I have on hand. The bottom is black, so this one is 8GB of DDR4, which is lower powered one. And here's how much is available right now, how much has been used. Now going down, the storage itself is 128GB, and here it is that it shows that I have 107 because the rest is going to be taken care of by partition, and some of them going to be used for their recovery. Yes, the image has to be on it in case you want to do a factory reset on it. That's how it's going to be loaded back, and that's why it shows a little bit. And then we installed some apps, but here is how much is externals available because we have a 16GB inside of this. We installed it so that way we can play some videos for you guys. And Bluetooth on this still shows on 4+, but I know that this is Bluetooth 5. Now that's not only thing, getting out, going under CPU itself, you can see that this ROC chip comes with dual type of chipset that is inside of it. Number one is going to be A55, which is running on 1800 megahertz, and that's a quad-core processor. And then they added another one to make this an octa-core processor, is going to be A76, which is running on 2256 megahertz. Now, here's the 8-core, and you can see that the minimum and the maximum, and the ones that are running and the ones that's going to be sleeping, it's all going to be right here. You can see that some of them are changing right now. CPU utilization on this is roughly about 15 to 16, but again drops back down to almost 6%, which is really good. The scaling governor on this is always scheduled, which we're really looking for. One thing I noticed that this one, you can see right over here that this is an ARM 8A, which means it's a 64-bit, not 32 anymore. So a lot of your apps that you want to install may not be able to install on this because this is a 64-bit ARM, and yes, because it's a 8 gigabyte of RAM to it, very nicely it will run for you. And you can see in the bottom that 32-bit is enabled, so you can install, but the 64-bit will be running a lot smoother, and this is really good to have. The native resolution on this is 1080p. It is running on 61 dpi. Going down, the GPU on this is a quad-core processor, and it is Mali G610. Here's all the cores. It is running on 60 frames per second, and this is orientated on landscape mode. OpenGL on this is 3.2, which means is you can install some games on it and it will run really flawlessly for you. Going down on the network itself, it has Wi-Fi 6 enabled, but you can see it says 5G is really supported on this. It's just the way that they have worded it for us. Now going down under Android itself, it has a lot of information inside of it that you can see. So it is running Android 13. The API level is 33. And here is the security patch that is launched on it. And then going down under sensors itself, you can see that there's nothing there. But if you go to terminal, then you will be able to see all of them that are running. It doesn't matter if it's going to be RAM or even GPU, and more is going to be right over here. Now it doesn't have a battery, but the little connection there still shows some percentage on this, or Celsius on it, but you can see that most of them are under 50, which is beautiful. That means it's not going to be heat sensitive. Going under the codecs itself, all the codecs that you require is already here. Remember that this is a newer chipset, so we're just going to find a few that we are really looking for, and it should be right over here. So this way we are going to say that it will work for us properly. And you can see most of them that are on the different boxes is already included. And going back up a little bit, let me just look for one thing that I'm looking for is VP9 is there, VP8 is there, but again the H263, 264, I do see that over here too. Now going up, OPOS is there, MP3 is there. Those are mandatory things to really have, but I don't see AV1. So this chip is, because it is from Rockchip and not from AM Logic, I do not see that part here, but we will be playing some videos for you to show you exactly how clean and how smooth it will be playing it for us. The next thing we will launch will be Geekbench. Now remember that on this box, I'm able to install Geekbench 6. This is 5, this is 6. So I already processed it. Let's go to number 6. You can see that all of the information shows accurately on it. Only thing I don't understand is why it's called this name. And then underneath of it is Android 13, all the clusters, the one that are set up. So that's chip number 1, chip number 2, and I already run this. You can see for single core we received 697, and for multi-core we received 2,578, which looks really good for this box. Again, this is Geekbench 6. Alright, so it's time to hook up the hard drive. So for that we have to open the top, and you just open by just pulling this up. And as you can see, it only accepts the .m2 connection unless you have an adapter to hook up a SATA. This is exactly connected or selected also for SATA. And also I just wanted to show that there's a little part, there's a little cut, and then a bigger part. So when you look at your .m2, you have a little part and then a bigger part. This is from an old laptop that I have taken out. And then once you go down, this part should really connect in the hole. And you can see that I cannot process it because this is not set up that way. So I have to find some tape to secure this. I know you're not supposed to do that, but I have a little tape and I'll use this to secure this inside of this box. Remember that the hard drive is right there, and this is just a connection. But I know when the heat kicks in, this will come off. So let's just check it out to make sure that this works first of all. And then to put it back, you have to put the bottom first and then push it down and click, and that's it. We just hooked up a .m2 to it, so we will go to settings, select settings, we will go to device preferences, and then in here you will see storage, and we have to go select it. Did you see that? It just read the 256 gig we just hooked up, and it is removable. So let's just click on it, and we can now set as a removable storage or set up as a device storage. So you can merge it, or you can use it as an external drive. Let's select it as removable storage, and then we can format it. It will take a couple of seconds, and now it is available for us to use. Now, how can we see this inside to see exactly if it is available or not? So now you can go to your file browser, which will be this one, which is preloaded on the box. You can select it. Now you will be able to see both of them. So as you can see, this is the SD, and you will see the exact size of it. And then this is the internal. So now I have both of them set up. So if you have a terabyte, 2 terabytes set up, you can also still see it inside of this. So now when you do in PVR, you can save it directly to that. It says it as an SD card in this case, and it will be saved on it. So if something do go wrong with your actual box, you have to factory reset, your recordings will be still there and still readable when you reset up your box. Easily you will be able to process that. The next thing we will launch will be some video playing. So let's go to VLC. Now if you hook up a thumb drive or a hard drive into your box, remember that it will scan. So it takes a couple of seconds for it to come up. The first thing we will play is our regular 1080p video. And again, it plays it flawlessly. I really like how it is. And there's no pause to it. And yes, if I have to bring up the volume, you can hear it, that it is playing it nice and smooth. Now this is a 4K video. Again, this is done by one of our phones. It's a regular 4K video, but it has a really big map. And when I say map, it means there has a lot of details into it. So all these little leaves, the water ripple, and also you can see the ship moving, and there should be some birds on the top that are moving. There is no pause to it. In any part of it, there's no pixelization. This is what we talk about when we are playing certain videos. So that's what my eyes are looking for, is when it's going to pixelate one part, so we can say that it doesn't do a good job. But again, it plays it flawlessly. This is a 4K and 10-bit. Yes, it plays it really nicely. So there is no pause to it. And again, the voice is properly set up there. Again, I have to bring it down a little bit so I can hear my own voice on this video. But yes, it plays it really nicely. There's no stop to it, and it's very nice and smooth. This is what we are really looking for with these type of boxes, to make sure that your video is going to be played perfectly. The next thing we will play with will be your speed test. So remember, number one, we have to make sure that we are connected via Wi-Fi, and then we will analyze it. So for that, you need to scroll all the way up into settings, and then make sure that your Wi-Fi is on and you are connected to the proper name. So again, I have 3 or 4 of them, but the one I want to connect is going to be my Wi-Fi 6 one, which is going to be this one, and we're going to click on it and it should connect. And there you go, now we're connected. Let's go back to our speed test. So here you go, this is the first time we're going to launch this app, and you can see there's an update. I'm just going to dismiss it right now, but you can see that it is going through and really analyzing it. But you can see that right now, this is Wi-Fi speed. We're getting about 628 megabits per second right now for the download. And this is our upload rate. We have 1.5 gigabit internet and roughly about 150 for upload. You can see that it is not only exceeding, it is really going above and beyond to get us all this information. So 628 megabits per second for our download and 159 for our upload, which is perfect. This is what we are always going to look for. So this is going to be for our Wi-Fi 6. So you can see that it even plays 8K. You're able to play 8K with this. And now we're going to back to the settings, and we got to make sure that the LAN connection comes on. And once that is connected, we will make sure that the Wi-Fi is off. So we're going back into Wi-Fi and turning it off. This way we're going to have a pure connection with landline. And now let's go back to our Wi-Fi analyzer and we will relaunch it. And now we can see that it just automatically starts the download test, and we're just waiting for it to give us. You can see that the ping went up to almost from 17 to 10. And here's my download for landline, above 900 and 17, now 15. So I think it's going to stick about 904. There you go, 114. I was just going to say that. And our upload rate goes even more higher. So it looks like we're getting 175 almost for our upload rate, 176 to be exact. And now this is landline connection. So now think about what else you can process using this box itself. So this is perfect how this has been set up, how it works, and now let's go through and play more with this box. All the links will be available where you can order this from, except that this was our take. I hope you guys like our video. If you do like it, click the like button, subscribe button on the top, comment in the bottom. Always remember to visit our own website, which is xctex.info. Like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and other social networking places, and thank you.